then there's a whole world out there of the most bizarre possible diseases you can imagine. Here's one of my favorite ones. It's called Jerusalem syndrome. This one is great. This is such a bizarre disease. Jerusalem syndrome. Shockingly, you can only get Jerusalem syndrome in Jerusalem. Here's what you get. It's got to be a rule out. The person who gets it cannot have problems with depression or anxiety, or rule out all the other psychiatric disorders. It's a standalone diagnosis. Here's the sort of person who gets Jerusalem syndrome. An American, highly religious Southern Baptist on their first trip ever to the Holy Land. Two other requirements that virtually are in every single case. The person has to be relatively on their own. At the end of the day, they're in a room by themselves, and they have to be having huge problems with jet lag. In other words, they're up at all sorts of weird times a day and really in soggy shape because of that. Here's what happens. This is the person who's been waiting their entire life to finally come to the Holy Land, has been saving, has been whatever. They scrape together, they go there. This will be the land where Christ walked. And they get there and they see that Jerusalem is like a normal city. There's traffic jams, there's smog, there's noise, there's pickpockets, there's McDonald's, there's all of that, and they're disappointed. They are shattered by this, and something comes unhinged, in the middle of the night. They're not being able to sleep alone in that room, dealing with this shocking realization that the place they had dreamt of their entire life doesn't exist anymore, and something cracks. Here's the detail that I love. In every single one of these cases, the person rips apart the hotel room bed, shreds the sheet, takes their clothes off, and before you know it, they're on a street corner in Jerusalem dressed in a toga, preaching to everyone, telling them to go back to simpler ways. The psychiatry SWAT team from the hospital there shows up, takes the person, puts them in the hospital there for a couple of days or so, their head clears, ships them back to Biloxi or wherever, and they never have a problem with this again for the rest of their life. They get 50 cases of this a year in Jerusalem. This is a recognized syndrome. People publish papers about Jerusalem syndrome. It struck me, though, that there is actually a very easy cure for it, which is in Jerusalem, all the hotel rooms, if the sheets always were plaid or something about the white just begs to be pulled into a toga, and that sort of pushes them over the edge. But this is a real disease.